Oh, hello. What's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of Pick Your Brain. Just a little bit of an intro. Some good news that we received at least in the art sector here in the UK is that finally the government released a 1.5 billion dole out or assistance to maintain the heartbeat of the nation, which is the art sector, which is all of the heritage and culture venues. So I think that includes museums, galleries, theaters are finally in the mix. I think people have been really fighting for that, at least to hear a mention of it from 10 Downing and from people who are in charge to really take notice of what's happening in the theater industry, because so many theaters are actually closing down. People are being made redundant, losing jobs. Some of the theaters, I think one of the ones that really caught my attention was Theatre Royale in Plymouth, the TRP, because we performed there for Miss Saigon, and we really, really loved that theater. And when they announced that they were having to shut down, it made shit really real. So it was a bit of good news when Rishi Sunak and 10 Downing announced that they were going to assist the theater industry. Now, how that's going to happen in the next few weeks, we're still on our watch. We were supposed to participate in this massive protest in London, which is now put on hold because now we're reacting and welcoming the good news. But just so that everybody knows that it's not just the actors and the performers and the producers and the creatives that are affected by this whole pandemic and the entire industry shutting down. It's thousands, hundreds and thousands of workers behind the scenes who are just as important, if not even more important than what you see on stage, that are also suffering from this entire mess of a pandemic. And these are the techies, the sound guys, the stage crew, front of house people, wardrobe departments, and my special guests this day are women and the people from the WIGS Department. And I personally, when I flew out from the Philippines into the UK industry, I did not realize how extensive this department was. We call them the WIGS Department, but really, it's not just wigs. It's everything, and I think they'll be the ones to explain to you later on. But it's everything your face and your head involves and touches. They have to be on top of it, and I made a lot of mistakes, and I've been on the scary stare eye for my wig department head, for making if my hair's too long, if I put on too much makeup, or if I'm just not doing it right. She'll look at me and say, Kirsty will look at me and say, just do better. Just do better next time. And she's laughing right now. But yeah, I mean, it's a whole it's a complex department with absolutely talented individuals, and I have three of them who I was so lucky enough to work with during the UK and international tour of The King and I. And our WIGS department head was also with us in Miss Saigon. And I mean, it's a big industry with really talented people, but it's nice that our paths cross more than once. So I'd like to introduce to you two beautiful women. The first three women that I have as guests on my Pick Your Brain stream: Kirsty Lamb, Anna Heath, and Emily Tidwell. Hello, ladies.
Hi.
Hi there.
Of course, you guys are all made up. You all have faces and hair today.
I have no hair anymore, but you know.
You like my intro, Kirsty? You like my intro to you guys?
Yeah, I mean, if we're throwing people under the bus, like, I'm in. Let's go.
You like this is my hair that you would not allow at all, either in Miss Saigon or in King and I.
I mean, you're blessed. You're very blessed with that head of hair. You always have been. Just don't ever shave your head.
Don't ever shave my head. Yeah, my wife tells me never do. I shaved it once, and I will never do it again. But then this is the kind of hair that Kirsty would always raise an eyebrow at. It's like, are you doing your pin curls? Are you doing your wig prep properly? Because
Did you do your pink girls?
yeah, I thank God I don't need to do my pin curls. How have you girls been doing throughout this whole situation, this whole pandemic?
Not
Alright.
bad. I think it's very like up and down for a lot of people, isn't it? Like in the whole situation. But yeah, not bad in general.
Yeah,
Definite mixed bag. I think there's days you're like, oh, it's like all the Saturdays you've ever worked for the last how many years. You're like, yes, getting them back. Except you don't have a job and you don't actually get to see the people that you actually are really fortunate to like being around.
yeah,
Yeah, as Anna said, it's real. Like, I mean, we speak like on the regular, and there can be a day when two of us are fine, but one of us isn't, or two of us are, it's really like it's wavy as to where you're sat.
right, right. And it's perfectly fine to be up and down, right? How have you been dealing with it, Emily?
Yeah, just trying to keep busy. It's the same because if you stop and think about it for too long, it's yeah, it's sad, but you just got to keep busy, and like there's not really anything else we can do at the moment.
Did you feel any like pressure to be like creative, or I mean, especially in your line of work? Like, okay, I'm gonna do one hairstyle today, another hairstyle tomorrow, a different face today. I don't know. Did you just like not want to do anything at all for like the first few weeks?
I personally, I've touched one wig since we've stopped, and even doing that, it just felt weird. Like, I think I'm all or nothing, and I was like, well, we don't have an industry currently, so therefore I'm just going to switch off from it for a while. I think it was weird as well because we were one of the very first shows to go. Like, out of everybody, we were the very first domino to hit. So in a way, we've had longer, so we're almost coming out the other way. Whereas there's a lot of our friends who are now getting hit by it, and it's rubbish.
Yeah. How about you guys? Like, Anna, have you tried? I mean, you obviously shaved your head, and you still look amazing with a shaved head.
Oh, thank you.
How did you come to that decision to shave your head?
Well, I've actually had my head shaved before in the past when I was about 18. So I think I was a bit like, oh God, people are going to think I'm having a breakdown, but I have done it before. I just had dyed it so much, and it had loads of different colours in it. I was trying to get it lighter, and it just was like lifting all differently. So I just was like, you know what, start again, shave it off. And now I literally can't imagine having hair. I think I'm going to just keep it like this. It's so easy. And I can cut it myself in lockdown and just go, clippers. And then, yeah, it's good.
See, that's the thing that you guys have an advantage over. Like, everybody's been waiting for the salons to open up or the barbershops to open up, and you're like, oh, I'm just gonna cut my hair today or shave my head today. And you don't have that problem. Emily, when we started working together, when you went on night, you would always have a different color of hair, almost like every day, or that what felt like every day. You went from pink to green to purple.
Okay, but can we just rewind? My favorite.
I knew this was coming.
So back in Edinburgh, right? So that's when we started in October. That was probably my favorite thing that you've ever said. Maybe it was the lighting. I don't know. The lighting backstage. Maybe it was a bit dim. But my hair was pink. It was like undoubtedly pink. And you asked if it was my natural hair color, and I don't know, but
that was a
probably
serious
one of the best
question.
days.
It was okay. To be fair, backstage when we go into the wig area, we're all lit by these like orange and bulbs. Your sense of color kind of changes, and
it's understandable.
It looked natural. It looked absolutely natural in that lighting. Yeah, so I just asked Emily if her pink hair was absolutely natural, and she responded with a completely blank face, and she was like, "Yeah, it's real." And I
believed it for a bit.
I did. I believed it for a good full minute. Okay, so I was just telling you guys earlier before we went live that coming from the Philippines, moving into the UK, I did not realize how extensive and how deep exactly the whole wig department was in contribution to the whole show. Because unfortunately, sometimes it's for like lower budget or not as, you know, commercial productions, the wigs and the hair is usually the last thing that people think of in mounting things like this. But then from Miss Saigon into King and I, that's almost like the first thing that you get measured for wigs, and they give you a whole makeup guide. How did you guys land into this industry? Was it always something you guys wanted to do? Like growing up, did you want to be, oh yeah, I want to be doing wigs and hair and makeup for the theater?
I didn't even know it was a job. So when I originally left school on an absolute whim, I ended up doing beauty therapy. I met a tutor who actually I've recently reconnected with. She was like, "Oh, you like the tiny bit of makeup we do in the course?" And you've got to remember, this was before YouTube, this was before Instagram, like none of that.
Yeah.
I didn't even think makeup was a job. Like I thought it was like a luxury that you went into, like, I don't know, John Lewis, and you went to a counter, and I was like, wow, that's fun. And she was like, yeah, it's a career. And then I got pushed to another course, exact same thing. Did like a tiny bit of wigs. Tutor at the time used to be a wiggy in the West End who had worked with designers I've now worked with, and said, you know, like, you need to go to London. This is what you need to do. I was just so fortunate that I had people who literally shoved me in the right direction. But I would never grew up. I mean, don't get me wrong. We all did the classic, like, dancing when we were little and stuff. But there's not a thing of like, oh, I wanted to be on stage, so I now work backstage. I completely fell into the theatre world. Like, I didn't even know it was a job.
So did your interest in beauty and hair start with just yourself? Like, you like doing and just being pretty on yourself?
Yeah, I try.
I'm a complete dunce when it comes to this. So
you know what? I actually have no idea. Like, when I was growing up, I wanted to be a physio. Like, that's what I wanted to do.
Oh, okay.
And then I think I bottled it slightly, and I realized that I was probably a little bit more creative than I was giving myself credit for. Yeah. And then it all kind of just like stemmed and went, and it happened. It was weird.
Interesting. How about you guys, Emily? How did you start? How did you learn this?
Well, I was always into art and stuff, and then when I was in school and when I was leaving school, I started like, you know, like experiment with makeup at home on myself. Oh my God, how embarrassing. Yeah, just like buying face paint and stuff. And then when I went to college, I was doing like arts, and then thought I'd want to be an artist and go to uni for that. Oh, there I am again. Yeah, so then I did like an art foundation, art and design, and then started researching into it more and realizing that I was really into like prosthetics and you know, like horror films and stuff like that. Yeah, so then I started researching courses, and yeah, and then I did a uni course in hair, makeup and prosthetics for performance at London College of Fashion, and that was a 3-year degree course.
How long is that course? Sorry.
3 years.
3 years.
Yeah, so you obviously it's a uni course.
It's specifically for like special effects, hair and beauty, makeup, and
yeah. So it's for performance. I think at the uni they do like a fashion one as well. But yeah, so that was, you know, you learn about wigs. It's a lot of like based on designing as well. So you get like a project and a brief, and you have to design characters. And oh, there I am as Lady Gaga. Yeah, so it's a good like well-rounding course, but it's a degree, so obviously you do a lot of like academic stuff as well. But yeah, it was good. Yeah.
And Anna, how did you land in this?
So I kind of fell into theatre a bit by accident, but growing up, like I was into makeup, but I was more into like my art type stuff. So I did all of my art degree, and then I went and trained at the School of Makeup as a makeup artist, and we did makeup and hair there.
Right.
But I hadn't done any wigs there. And then so I started working as a makeup artist more in the TV and film side of things.
Okay.
So I did that for probably about 8 years-ish. And then it was just one of my friends was on tour, like one of mine and Kirsty's mutual friends, actually, Sarah Lee. She was on tour with Dirty Dancing at the time, and they were just desperate for somebody because someone had left, and she was like, "Oh, I know you can do hair. I know you've not done wigs before. Come down and see and give it a go." And then the rest is history. I've literally not stopped touring since I joined that tour, and then I've been touring ever since. Yeah, for last 5 years ish.
Kirsty, break it down for me. Exactly what constitutes the wig department? Because it's not just wigs, is it?
No, I like to think that we're like most people's personal assistants, really. No, we've got everything. I always go with the rule from like neck up, it's ours. Apart from piercings, I'm having nothing to do with that. Just FYI.
Say that again.
Piercings. Always a rough area. Who does it fall to? Normally us, which is annoying. Right. Oh, there she is. Yeah, basically anything you see on stage, makeup, no makeup, hair, wigs, like there's a thought process behind it all. Right. If someone's not got makeup on, there's a reason for that. Right. If they've got a full face on, there is a reason for that. Right. There's somebody above us, there's somebody above them, there's the chain above is huge. Right. I mean, I think I was pretty naive to it until the last couple of years, really. And then you sort of get privy to it and you want to cry a little bit because you suddenly realize how many people like a decision comes from. It's not me being awkward, it's not Anna, it's not Emily, it's not Rachel. Like we literally have like another 20 people above us saying, well, why is that like that? Yeah. Right. So you're pretty restrictive.
So for example, for like the King and I, talk me through the numbers. How many wigs are there exactly? Like a rough estimate, and of all the wigs, like we're looking at Mrs. Anna's wig. Let me put that up a bit. So we're looking at something like that. Or even that one. That's a wig. And you've got 2 covers of Mrs. Anna, apart from Annalene, you've got 2 other covers for her. And they have their own set of Mrs. Anna wigs. And then you have all of the wives' wigs, right? And you have all our monk wigs. And
I think
go ahead.
So per show,
yeah,
I think we use, including the kids, we're just short of 50 wigs a show. Then you've got the covers. So any principal you see on stage, we then have that wig 3 times over. So that's like another, oh my gosh, because we are quite principal heavy on this show. Yeah. So I'd say like 8 times 3 again. Then we've got the swings wigs. I mean, we've got a whole trundle just full of like cover wigs. It almost meets again. Like I wouldn't be surprised if we were, I mean, I should probably know this number, but I'd say like we probably tour 75, 80 wigs.
75 to 80 wigs for this particular production.
Yeah, and you know the thing about this show, right? Yeah. When you watch it, it's the absolute beauty of it. It's so simply done. Like it's not, look at the costumes. But because of that, like the costumes speak so much. Yeah. And the wigs look, in a way, yeah, of course, you don't want people to come to a show and be like, oh my gosh, they've got a wig on their head. Like that's not the idea. Right. But it's the volume of wigs on this show. Right. It's just relentless with like, you're just constantly surrounded by black hair. Like every single wig, there's a reason they're labeled.
I think what really got to me as well is just the amount of detail and how realistic these wigs are. When it lands on the actors' faces or heads, they look so stunningly real. Like, like the hairline is almost as real, and the standard is really, really high. How much is the most expensive wig that each of you have worked with? I love hearing this number. What is the most expensive wig or head of hair that you have had to work with?
I think like a good principal wig, if it's all like handmade, you could be talking between like 3 and 4 grand.
Yeah.
Like on average, we'll say like
4,000.
Yeah.
If it's long, and if it's like a specific color as well, if it's like a natural blonde or like even like a gray, that they can be like £3,000-4,000
for one wig.
Because they're all handmade, you know, like somebody's knotted it like, you know, hair by hair, and it's made specifically for the actor, so it's like completely custom fit to them. And their hair, obviously, that's expensive in itself. So
imagine like crocheting, like, but with individual bits of hair.
And it's all. This is a stupid question. This is all human hair, right? It is all.
It's not a stupid question at all. Our show, yes, we are. We are all real hair. So it's a pricey show in that sense. We don't have any synthetics.
Right.
I've done other shows where we've been like half and half.
Yeah.
A lot of that's to do with like what styles they're in, what you need to do with the wigs.
Right.
If you're on tour and you're moving every couple of weeks, like the maintenance of them as well, you've got to like a more synthetic wig you can be a bit more brutal with, and you can make it last. Whereas,
go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, with like real hair wigs, the maintenance is higher because it's hair.
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, how long is the shelf life of these real, like the King and I wigs, for example? How long, now that the show's been mothballed and they get put in the storage, how long does that last? Like, if they decide to mount the show again, do you have to come up with a new set of wigs, or?
No, our get out in Liverpool was a whole lot of fun. I mean, we had not even 24 hours notice to literally like deconstruct the show and wash every single wig that was in the show. Which at the best of times isn't fun, but when you're doing it like so quickly, it's even worse. We basically packed the show. This is the best example I can give you. We washed every wig, we packed it. Emily sat and labelled for her life with every single wig against a sort of like reference chart as to who was in the show. And they're all packed like accordingly. So whoever opens that next box, you technically should be able to just go.
Okay. And how long is the lifespan of a wig?
Depends how okay, so for instance, we got some of the wigs. Obviously, they did a run at the Palladium. That would have been 2 years ago they started that.
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot of the cast came to the tour. Their wigs just came with them. I would say now there's maybe like a couple, not a lot, that maybe need like a refront. So it's like where the front lace has just gone too far back.
Okay.
But honestly, like a lot of the wigs are almost brand new. They're pristine. So yeah, I'd say like you should get a good few years.
I think it depends on what show. If they need to be heat styled often, then that's when they start getting damaged and stuff. But it's quite good on this show that they don't really get that heat damaged. So they last longer. So it's mainly the lace, really. The lace that can like go back and get damaged. That's the main thing really on this show.
Well, what do you think is the most difficult show that you guys have worked on separately, apart from the King and I? What was the most like, wig department heavy show that you've worked on?
Hairspray.
I can imagine. Is that more difficult than King and I? Hairspray.
I mean, that was a baptism of fire. Like that was my second ever job, and looking back, I learned so much. I mean, I'd love to go back and do it now that I kind of know more what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But at the time, I was like, "What is this?"
How about you, Emily? What was the hardest show that you've worked on?
I've only worked I've been on 2 tours, which was the King and I, Matilda. So those are the only jobs I've had like full time. But before that, I worked on 42nd Street for a short time. But obviously, because of the cast on that, they have, I can't even remember how many wigs, but they have a lot of wigs. They've got about 60 cast, and then they've each got like 2 or 3 wigs. So that was, in terms of like the team being biggest and the amount of wigs, that one, 42nd Street.
Anna?
I would say probably Wicked was the most wig heavy show, just because of the amount of different styles of wigs they have, and they have all the caged wigs, the Emerald City ones, and they're quite heavily like set as well, so set in the oven. So we would have like different shifts to like go in early and set them, and because they have to be in the oven for so many hours and then styled out. So
sorry, talk to me about that. What do you mean by putting these wigs in the oven? And
yeah, so you might not have seen it so much on The King and I, but on other shows, so they'll be set in flock rollers, and then wet, and then put into the oven to dry. So it's not like a normal oven, but it's like a big wig oven. Don't get as hot as a normal oven. And then that they'll dry in there, so they have to stay in there for a few hours. And then when you get them out, that's when you brush it all out and put it into the style. Right.
Kirsty was telling me that when, at least in her mind, and I think this is a good standard, that everything wig department is neck up. So that includes face, that includes prosthetics, correct?
Yeah.
If the show needs it. So for example, when Kirsty was working with Craig on something like this.
Look cute.
I like this. I love it. How long did it take to get him ready for the show, Kirsty?
So Sarah Leaf, who has already had a mention today.
She's gonna love this.
This is actually her baby. So when we did Shrek, the problem with the last tour was they combined a makeup. So as you were saying earlier on about, we're the first people to kind of go. Like, we're either not considered, or if you ever cut back a production, wigs will go first. Wigs and makeup, 100%. We are like, it's rubbish, but anyway. So on this particular production, there used to be a wig team and a makeup team. And obviously, because it was the second time it had been out, they were like, it's cool. You can do it in one team with half the people. So between Sarah and I, Sarah was my deputy, and I just let her, like, Shrek makeup was hers. And she got that down. I think she could do it in like just over an hour. I mean, she was so precise, and Sarah's such a perfectionist, but she did it every day. And, she knew what worked, she knew that what didn't work, like trial and error. But we had a couple times where it was a little bit hairy that we had to get somebody into that makeup. I mean, that's the thing. You can show stop for 45 minutes. If you've got to put somebody into a makeup that takes an hour and 15, you're in trouble. So we had, I would say maybe once or twice, we had a Shrek that needed to go off. So we pulled the cover off stage beforehand, and one of the girls went and tried to get him ready. And I think she did it in about, I think it was 45 minutes. Like, it was insane.
Wow, that's really, really quick. You brought up something interesting. So do the covers of Shrek get into makeup as well?
No, you can't with that. So that show particularly, the prosthetic pieces, I mean, they had been stripped back slightly cost-wise. And actually, in my opinion, they were better from what I saw was the original ones.
Right.
But each face was £200 a show, just for the prosthetic. We're not talking about the glue, the makeup, the wigs, the cowls. Like, £200 literally for a show. So you would obviously keep the face on a 2-show day if you could.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were like, say 6 times a week that makeup went on fresh. That's 1,200 a week just on like a chin, cheeks, and forehead.
Wow, that's mind blowing.
Yeah, the ordering for that show, I remember sitting with Craig at the very beginning and going through it, and I was just like, this is a house deposit, like the amount you had to order up front.
It's a full house deposit.
Genuinely.
But you guys get to work with such expensive gear, such expensive kit, right? Makeup kit. And do you feel a little guilty every time you're using, oh, this is so expensive, as soon as it goes off of your hands? Or when you see an actor that's putting on a little bit too much of it?
I don't personally really think about it like that, but the only thing that really does get to me, and why you guys probably don't understand when we do go mad, is when you see people pulling hairs out of the wig. If you see someone doing that, that is the biggest sin you can ever do in front of a wiggy. So that is because they are so expensive. So you think that hair costs a lot of money, and they've just
Yeah, because it's like what you guys said. It's like it's hand sewn onto that lace.
yeah.
When you order a wig design, does it go to? Is there a company that does it? That do you order? Is there like a specific like shop that does all of the hand?
We're supervised by Campbell Young. With Helen. Helen is our supervisor on it under Campbell's name as design. But Campbell's actually got a studio, so it's brilliant because he's one of these people that he supervises. Helen supervises for Campbell, and Campbell's got an actual wig making studio. So
Wow.
you know that if you've got Helen or Campbell, you will have Campbell made wigs, which I personally think are like brilliant. They're beautiful, like really, really beautiful. So yeah, we're quite lucky that it was all for this show particularly. It was all just one place.
Yeah. Have you ever tried, like, Emily, have you ever tried making a wig from scratch? Like,
yeah, that was like something we did in uni. So because we had it like project by project. So yeah, we had like wig making modules, things like that. So I've made one which is like fully hand knotted, and some of them are just knotted at the front, and then the rest is like weft sewn in. So I've made some, but I mean, I'm not a wig maker, so it's not like
how long does it usually take from the very beginning to the end of completing a wig? Like if you were to do a hand knotted wig from the start to finish, how long would it take?
Me personally, probably too long, but at the studios and things like that, I don't know how long it takes them. Maybe a week, a few days. I'm not sure. It depends. Because these are people that do it full time. Yeah. Like they must get really quick at it, but it's a lot of hours, I think.
I'm sure. Like the turnaround must be long for just one wig, especially for like Anna's wig. Mrs. Anna's wig is so elaborate and so pristine. Is it a different wig that you need to use for stage versus if it was going to be filmed, for example, like the Palladium production was filmed in HD? Do they do a different wig? Is there like an HD wig?
No. So for that topic, my favorite EPKs. It's a hard one. If you're going to film any stage show, it's a stage show. I mean, if people watch it, to be fair, like a lot of the time you don't see the laces. A lot of the time people cut them back, which is a little bit like, because if they cut it, it's gone. It doesn't grow back. And then you're basically going to have to pay somebody to put that back in. Right. But I think people need to realize that if you're watching a stage show filmed, you're watching something that is made for the stage. So your wig laces are going to be thicker. They're going to be more durable. Like Anna's probably the better one to talk about this with like TV and film wigs.
Yeah,
they're so much better.
What's the difference?
So the lace on a TV and film wig is very different from the lace on a theatre wig, so it's a lot finer, so you can't see it in HD, and it looks almost like a pinky colour instead of a kind of colour that we see. But it's yeah, they're very, very different. So like Kirsty said, you wouldn't expect to use a HD lace in theatre because it's so delicate as well that obviously with quick changes and stuff like that in theatre, they'd end up getting ruined. So yeah, they are very different.
Yeah, the King and I was the first time I ever experienced a wig quick change. Where, yeah, I mean costume quick change, yeah, I know what that is, but then a wig quick change, that's like, what? I didn't realize that was possible. Would you say that in all of like at least majority of the shows that are running on the West End or touring, that it's wig heavy? Like people still, are there shows that actually use the actors' real hair?
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to budgets. Yeah. Like it's a shame, but I think wigs are easier because you can do the work in advance, whack them on the head, go, and there's more options. Right. Someone's real hair, I don't know if I was an actress and someone told me, I'm going to heat your hair every night, I'm going to curl it every night, you're going to have somebody with you for at least 30 minutes prior to the show on your head whilst you're trying to get ready for a show, I would say that person's probably going to push for a wig. But it all comes down to money. It just completely depends.
Right. Okay, this is going to be a fun part. What are your favorite like peeves, pet peeves of well, Anna had mentioned one, plucking hair out of place. What are your favorite actor peeves? Only probably because it's, you know, they don't understand or they're ignorant of the process of how expensive it is, or, you know, just the amount of work that goes through that. But what are your peeves that actors do when it comes to makeup and wigs?
I've got two quite strong ones. One, when people come in during tech and rehearsals and they moan that they're tired. I think the problem is with like tech, especially, perfect example. Your tech days split up into like 3 sections. Section 1, your whole tech team will have been in the building since at least 9 a.m. Cast don't normally turn up till 11, 12 to then do section 2 and 3. We've already done our whole morning. Our contracts are very different. It's not beneficial for us to be there from 9 a.m. That's one. Most people are pretty good, in fairness. It's what you said. It's like, it's not even ignorance. It's just not knowing. It's a total lack of understanding. And if you're straight out of college, it's savage. Like, it's a hard week. I get it. It's hard for all of us in different ways. But I think for us as well, we don't come in and moan about it because we know, like, we're not running about on stage. It's different experience. It's you can't compare it. But I think across the board for techies and stage, it's like, just keep quiet, just have a coffee and you'll be okay. Number 2, the throwing under the bus, right? So, for example, if I say to somebody, "Oi, you've not shaved," instead of getting "Oh, sorry, I'll go and do it in a minute," you get "So-and-so's not shaved either today." Which, to be honest, that entertains me more because I just think it's hysterical how quick people are to like throw your mates under.
Oh yeah. I always fess up. Kirsty always. Kirsty's thing with me is shaving my stubble, because monks are not supposed to have any facial hair, right? And sometimes I'm just either really lazy or I forget, or this is a true story. Sometimes I shave and then by the time it's a second show, it grows back. And
you know, if you ask any wiggy ever what their most annoying thing is, it's telling people to shave.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Like, okay, it's just funny because I think people think we get like a kick out of it. And honestly, I would rather play like rock, paper, scissors to decide who has to go and have the mundane conversation again.
Oh my God. Yeah, I can imagine. How about you, Emily, Anna? Pet peeves. Go on.
I mean, it doesn't seriously annoy me. It's just kind of funny. But I think when people try and change things, I mean, not like massively, but they'll be like, "Oh, can I do this today?" And I'm kind of like, that's a design decision. That's nothing. that's like 10 levels above me. Like, I can't say, "Oh yeah, like you can wear, I don't know, fake eyelashes today when you're not supposed to be." Like, it's kind of funny. But then they think that you're being mean when you say no, and you're like, "But I can't, like, you can't wear red lipstick because you're not supposed to have any on, so obviously not."
Oh my God, yeah. We're going to unpack that a little bit later. Go on. That's it?
That's it, really. Everyone, yeah, just when people like ask to have different things than what, and I'm kind of like, well, I mean, I can ask above me.
I mean, you have actors that are doing a show 8-9 times a week for a full year, and then they think that they can get creative with certain design decisions, and then you have the makeup team saying, "No, don't do that." No eyelashes, Jesse.
I have thought of another one, but I don't know. I'm trying to think if you've ever done it, JP. But
probably
no. Just when people get a skin fade, and then they moan that the wig's coming off. What do you want us to stick it to? We can't stick it to anything. So if you willing to have your wig fall off, then you can do what you want. But
yeah, I'll admit I like getting my skin fade, especially during the tour. But then I would always make sure that, begrudgingly, I would always have my pin curls done. So you guys know what pin curls are. when you have long hair on top like this, you need something that the wig can latch onto. So you need to curl these things up so that they can bite onto those curls so that they don't fall off. And I used to be so lazy doing these pin curls, and these wonderful ladies have always been very patient with me, or not. All right, some misconceptions about the wig department.
We like telling you to shave.
That, yeah. Now, some misconceptions, like what do you think people assume the wig department is or isn't? That
I think it is getting better, but
yeah.
I do think sometimes, again, like you said earlier, you know, if anything's going to go from anywhere, it's going to be us normally that's like cut. Or I think people don't understand like the actual amount of work we do. Like I think it's very easy for people to be like, oh, they brush hair, or like, oh, the wiggies can cut your hair, and you're like, oh, we're actually in the middle of something. But yeah, I think that's the only thing. But I do think that is getting better. Like I think a lot of people are kind of actually like, oh, this is what you do.
Right. Have you ever gotten like any? I'm sure you have, but have you ever gotten like a comment expecting you guys to do a certain thing, and you would have to say, oh, that's not our department?
I think a lot of people get mixed up with like wardrobe and wigs sometimes, like what that comes down to. So sometimes you have to say, oh yeah, it's not really us, but it's not too bad. I don't think it's ever been like really bad on any shows I've worked on.
Are like the WIGS departments across the industry, are they like, is there a union? Is there like an equity that protects them?
Yes. So like more now than ever, we're covered by BEC2, which is a union that covers basically everyone backstage, apart from stage management. They're under equity. It's bizarre, but they are. To be fair, BEC2 are brilliant. I mean, I've had them help me out a few years ago with a contract, and just now they could not be doing enough. Like they are incredible. So yeah, I've got to give it to them.
And sometimes even like the wig departments and the sound, like for example, in Anna's wig for The King and I, you guys lodge the lapel or the microphone. Is that supposed to be a secret?
No. It happened.
Yeah, you guys put the mic inside the wig, so that automatically makes both departments have to work together, right? So,
yeah, we occasionally do take the mix slightly. That, I mean, it's easier for us to fit mics because we do the wig prep, we put the mic on, you put the wig on. If you're waiting for a sound person who has 3 wiggies stood there with 3 cast members, you're going to be there all day. That's nothing against them, but you've only got a half-hour call, so why not double it up? Just get us to do it. It makes a lot more sense.
right.
So yeah, as long as you're all on the same page and it's not taking advantage of, you know, like wardrobe wash things for us, like preps and things like that. Like, but then there's always got to be a little bit of leeway. You've just got to have each other's backs.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, we have some King and I members watching. Coco says that he needs a haircut. He needs a haircut. Well, Coco in the show, to be fair, is one of the few that can actually get a haircut from the wiggies because he doesn't wear a wig. His character uses his own hair, so he can actually go to the wig department and say, I can get a haircut, right? Because it's part of his design, isn't it?
Yeah, he has a haircut. Well, he used to have one about once a week because it's like very like sharp, his look.
It's very specific to the crawler home. What's one thing that you wish people knew or the industry knew more about your department?
I think maybe the amount of time that we spend like doing all the wigs. I think people don't necessarily notice it, and I think when I did an international tour, and I know you guys have done international, so you're all staying in the same hotel as well. I think that was the first time when the cast actually saw us like going down in the lift in the hotel, and they were like, "Oh, are you off out for the day?" "No, I'm going to work." "Oh." So I think they noticed then, how many hours we do actually go and spend doing them. But I think a lot of people don't really realize. That's not a bad thing, but it's just something they don't really think about.
There's just more hours that you guys have to put in inside a theater.
Yeah.
From the time that we don't see that, we enter it, everything's set and ready, but you guys are there hours before us. Thank you. I mean, it's really, really enlightening, and I'm just learning a lot about this, and it's nice that people can actually aspire to be in the wig department, because it is a real career, you know.
Yeah.
Is there any difference now with the advent of YouTube and Instagram that's affecting or changing perceptions about being a wiggy or being a makeup artist?
Yes. I mean, it's funny actually, and I don't want to generalize this at all, because Emily and Rachel, our other WIGS assistant, are absolute like the opposite of this.
Yeah.
I call it Club 25. So it happens normally with people under the age of 25. And I think it's more a generation thing. Like you said, like Instagram, YouTube, like Anna and me, when we were like 15, 16, we didn't have all that. It was very much like Facebook was just coming in as we were like 17, 18.
Yeah.
I think people sometimes don't want to put the graft in anymore. And like I said, Emily and Rachel are actually two absolute examples of not being like this. Like they're the opposite. They're very old school.
Yeah, Rachel was the other lady from our wig department who is absolutely like really, really talented as well. It's just unfortunate she can't join us.
Yeah, I feel like people don't want to graft. People don't want to put the groundwork in. And like, I'm not saying, I mean, God, we've always stuck by the rule, you know, like that sounds really awful, but whoever gets paid the least is out the door first, in the sense of like, if we've got to do overtime, it'll be me and Anna who stay back to do it. Like we look after the younger ones. But you've also got to have that drive. You've also got to want to learn. You've got to want to ask questions. Like Rachel came to us because she applied to do work experience. She didn't even know there was a job going. And then she impressed us so much within 2 days. We were like, well, we need to take somebody on. She already knows everybody. And just her attitude was what got her the job. Right. She was so good. And I don't want to generalize at all, because that's not fair. But I do think, luckily, on the whole, most people that want to come into theatre and do wigs, they understand the hours they get. You've got to put the work in.
Do you think Instagram, or the easy access to information and people doing all of these like demonstrations and how-tos, do you think that makes someone who doesn't really understand the industry feel like things can happen faster or easier?
Yeah, like I actually feel kind of bad, because I feel like you're not managing expectation properly there. You've got to be very like, don't get me wrong, some people on Instagram and YouTube, I mean, I sit and watch stuff and I am like amazed. I just think the talent is incredible. I mean, I didn't go to university, like I went to college and things, but you know, I'm a real sort of like, I will back people who have grafted and have worked, and you don't always need a degree to do things. So I'm really for that. However, I do feel, again, like managing expectations, I worry that you're in for a bit of a fall.
Yeah, because there's still a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
Emily, how do you feel? Go ahead. Go ahead, Anna.
No, I think that we're quite lucky in the wigs side of things, that it hasn't really got that way in wigs yet. I think it's a lot more in the makeup side of things. Whereas I think people don't necessarily even know that being a wiggy is a job still. So I think that's quite a good thing in a way, that if you do get into it, you've got into it through the right reasons, rather than seeing it all on Instagram, which is more like the makeup side of it.
Do you feel like Emily? Do you feel like there's a good side to all of this attention that's coming out on Instagram for makeup and all of these instructions?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a really good way to learn things and practice on yourself. But and I think, I mean, you know, like obviously people, you know, if there are like self-taught makeup artists, and you know that's like really valid, and people have social media careers now, and that's like, you know, that's just like how it's going. But obviously it is different when you're doing things on other people, and like, you know, there is like a different kind of training that you have. So I think like both things help each other, but I think you kind of, obviously they are separate, but I don't know. I think it's helpful to be able to like know both sides of it, to respect each side, I guess.
But to be fair, Kirsty, if you had posted this on Instagram, this would be this would absolutely throw everybody, you know, out of the water. Look at that. That's how long ago was this, Kirsty?
Oh my god, that was, oh, where are we? Maybe, oh no, I know when that was. That was when I left Matilda. So 2017.
So cool. Like, you know, you guys would probably be the best people to hang around with for Halloween. Look at that.
Yeah, we've become very popular at Halloween. You get all your friends asking, "Oh, can you just do this? Can you just do that?"
Oh,
that was ages ago.
So we're gonna start to put up your if people want to follow your work, I'm gonna put up your Instagram handles because it's just really amazing. And unfortunately, we don't have enough time to show everything. But then the level of skill and talent that you ladies have is just amazing. Also, I need to show this because Anna and I share a common love for bodybuilding.
there she is.
Even if Anna's way ahead of me. Are you a pro yet, Anna?
No, not yet. Hopefully one day.
So you were supposed to be training for a competition this year, yeah?
Yeah, we did start prep for competitions for potentially the end of August, but that one's not happening anymore. And because they've announced that the finals are going to be next year anyway, it kind of makes more sense to prep for the finals, so qualify close to the finals and then just go straight through. So I think it will probably, if I can hold myself back from competing this year, it will probably be next year. But you never know. When they announce all the dates, because they've not put them out yet, then I might get a little temptation. But at the moment, next year is the goal.
You have to let us know. Keep us posted on that. We'd love to support you for that. So what have you guys been doing to stay sane? What are the hobbies that you've developed, new skills you've been honing throughout this pandemic? I see you guys are posting a lot of stuff. Anna, you've been like selling these gorgeous little, what do you call these?
Yeah, so I've been making stuff out of resin, all kinds of different things. So yeah, I've set up a little Etsy shop for that, because I think as creative people, I think you do have to have kind of something to keep your mind creating.
Definitely.
So I've done that and been still doing my home workouts, but I'm counting down the days to the gyms reopen.
Oh yes. Emily?
Well, I just want to say quickly about Anna's bodybuilding. Okay, so we go on tour, right? And that's like a full-time job. But Anna also does bodybuilding, which is also a full-time job. But she's doing it like 365 days a year whilst being on tour. And yeah, she basically works 2 jobs, and her commitment's like crazy. So,
and she never, ever says, "I'm tired."
No, I can vouch for that.
I am tired.
No, like.
So I'm glad I'm not a moaning person then.
You know, that's one of my favorite things about WIGS Department. It's like it's always just a good time. Like no matter how toxic the work can get, or no matter how tiring things are, you go into the WIGS Department, you got a lot of banter, you get a lot of sass, but it's just always a nice room to be in. It's always a nice room to be in. Apart from all of the gum that I steal from Anna and the treats.
4 pieces at a time.
I don't mind.
2 pieces. What was, go and explain your theory about how many pieces you put in your mouth at one time, please.
Me?
Yeah. Were you not going through a point of having like 5 bits?
Yeah,
to get that good jaw.
I was working on the jaw muscles just to get that square.
I might try it.
Yeah, so I shove in like 5 pieces of that bubble. What's our favorite brand? Anna?
Bubble mint.
The bubble mint. Yeah, and I'm always like, Anna, is this sugar free? Anna, is this sugar free? Everything that they have sweets laid out on the wig table, and I'm always asking if it's calorie free.
If I'm having it, it's sugar free. You can count on that.
if I know Anna's not going to sabotage my diet. Oh my God, I'm so glad I chatted with you guys. Last bit as we close up. Any like piece of advice for any young girl or boy who wants to go into the wig department, into playing with makeup and eventually landing a career in this beautiful industry that we love?
Work experience, which I know is really hard. A lot of people are like, if I can say yes to it, I always do. Because somebody needs to give you a chance. You know, you never know when you might need an assistant. You never know when you might just need somebody to cover. And like, you can find some absolute gems. Like over the years, I've met so many incredible people through work experience. And you know, somebody gave me that opportunity. So I do feel you've got a responsibility to now give that back if you can.
Yeah, and don't feel downhearted if something doesn't come of it straight away. If it might not have the opportunity straight away, but it can lead on to something else in the future. So you've always got to make that good impression. If you're willing to work hard, then you'll get to where you want to be.
Yeah, we all speak like it's like a little mafia, the wiggies, and it's the same with cast. It's as you said earlier, the industry's tiny. It's huge, but it's tiny, and it doesn't take much for like word to get around. But that can be a real positive. You know, like I had never met Emily, but like I had Anna's word. I've worked with Anna before, and then I spoke to a few other people who actually were from the cast, and everybody absolutely loved her. So you know, you're not always just getting recommendations from another wiggy. You will ask sound people, you will ask cast, because you want an overall balance.
Yeah.
But yeah, we talk.
Emily, any advice?
If you live, I mean, obviously right now it's different, but just like dropping CVs around to theatres, if you're able to get to London, like to get work experience, like even if you have to do it like 3 times, just like keep letting people know that you're interested, because you know, eventually somebody might see a CV a few times or keep it or whatever. And if you can get people's, you know, email addresses and ask them for advice, things like that, like, because hopefully somebody will notice, and then if you're lucky enough, you know, you'll get work experience, and just keep trying basically.
All right, thank you, Kirsty, Emily, Anna. Thank you. It was so nice to chat with you guys. And
thanks to you.
Oh, so we're gonna put up your IG just for a bit. So we're gonna put up their IG accounts. That's Kirsty.
I feel like mine really lacks in comparison to the other two. I mean, there's a lot of cows currently.
Mine's mainly fitness based, so
That's
you don't need.
If you want to see Anna's amazing body and her competition photo, that's true, right? It's true.
Yeah, but any excuse to just have a little jib at you.
Yeah. And Emily, I put this because I think this is mainly your.
That's a good one. Put that one.
Great. Go
Emily's
follow.
stuff that she's been doing recently with makeup is insane. So you really do need to look.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. So in their photos, you're gonna see other wiggies that we've worked with. Rachel, for example. Oh, so lovely to see you guys. Oh, thank you, Koki. I'm sure he means you girls, but but yeah, so thank you, ladies. It was so nice, always enlightening, and we never really get to talk at this level and in this depth during work, because it's all about work, and you know, we get in and out of the building as soon as we can. But then it's nice to pick your brains. Thank you so much, and I really hope that things get better soon, and we're all finding each other and throwing shade and giving banter again backstage.
I hope so.
Take care of you guys. Take care of yourself. And
You too.
Thank you.
see you soon. I'll have a drink with you ladies soon. I can feel it.
Yeah.
And
Thanks
Anna
for
will
having
say
us.
yes.
If Anna has a drink, I'm gonna have a drink.
Okay, we'll do it.
Yeah. All right. Bye-bye. Stay well.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.